B2B marketing strategies, platforms to execute. The platform problem. Buyers don't follow funnels anymore. B2B marketing feels chaotic right now because it is. Your buyers aren't in a stage, they're in a set of platforms. McKinsey's research shows decision makers use an average of 10.2 channels in a single buying journey, up from about 5 in 2016, which means any single channel strategy gets ignored fast. At the same time, digital self-serve expectations are rising. Gartner found 61% of B2B buyers prefer a rep-free buying experience overall, and many buyers actively avoid suppliers when outreach feels irrelevant. So, more touches only works if those touches are timely and specific. The practical takeaway is simple. Your B2B marketing strategy lives or dies on the platforms you can execute consistently. The goal isn't clicks or impressions. It's turning platform activity into qualified meetings and pipeline your SDRs and AEs can actually work. Build your channel mix around buyer intent, not shiny tools. Before you add another tool or must-have network, map where buyer intent shows up for your ICP. Search queries, review sites, pricing pages, comparison pages, and product/solution pages. Those intent hotspots typically point you back to a core stack: website/SEO, email, LinkedIn, and phone. Then you layer paid media only when it supports those paths to revenue. This shift is also structural, not trendy. Gartner predicted that by 2025, 80% of B2B sales interactions would happen in digital channels, and most teams now feel that reality day to day. Your site, content, and messaging do the first meeting long before a rep ever gets on a call. A common mistake we see is trying to be on every platform at once just because buyers use many channels. In practice, 3 to 5 well-run platforms beat 10 mediocre ones, because consistency and attribution matter more than novelty when you're building a repeatable outbound sales agency motion. Email is still the highest leverage platform for demand and SDR execution. Email remains the most dependable way to create conversations at scale, especially when it's run like a system: deliverability, targeting, sequencing, and follow-up. Multiple industry roundups report that 79% of B2B marketers rate email as their most effective demand gen channel, and typical ROI estimates land around $36 to $42 in revenue for every $1 spent when it's executed well. Where teams get this wrong is treating email like a copywriting project instead of a platform. The copy matters, but the platform mechanics matter first. Authenticated domains, clean data, tight segmentation by ICP and buying stage, and a cadence that makes it easy for SDRs to follow through. Whether you're running in-house, partnering with a cold email agency, or scaling an outsourced sales team. To keep execution measurable, tie every email motion to a clear next step and a downstream outcome. Meeting booked, opportunity created, not just opens. The moment your email platform becomes a pipeline platform with clean tracking into your CRM, your SDR agency-style workflow becomes predictable instead of hope-based. LinkedIn plus your website/SEO is the trust engine behind Outbound. LinkedIn is the B2B social platform that consistently turns attention into pipeline. Industry statistics regularly cite that roughly 80% of B2B social leads come from LinkedIn, which is why being active isn't the same as executing. You need targeted prospect research, thoughtful one-to-one outreach, and content that matches the exact problems your outbound is talking about. Your website is the home base that makes every other platform work harder. When your SDRs drive prospects to relevant case studies, integrations pages, ROI pages, or pricing content, you shorten the sales cycle because buyers self-educate. That matters because content marketing is often cited as generating about 3 times more leads at roughly 62% lower cost than traditional methods when executed consistently. Treat your website like a 24/7 SDR pod. Crisp CTAs, embedded meeting links, chat where it makes sense, and clean tracking, UTMs and pixels, so every meaningful visit becomes a signal. If a buyer clicks from email to your pricing page, that should automatically influence the next touches, faster follow-up, tighter talk tracks, and more direct asks. Platforms don't create pipeline. Well-orchestrated touches across platforms do. Phone outreach is still the fastest path from signal to meeting. Cold calling isn't dead. Disconnected cold calling is. When you combine email and web intent with a timely call, you collapse days of back and forth into a single conversation, which is why many high-performing teams still rely on cold calling services as a core execution layer, even in digital-first markets. The platform choice matters here. A dialer and sales engagement workflow should make calling unavoidable, not optional. Your SDRs should see the why, recent engagement, the who, buying committee context, and the next step, meeting link and routing, in one place. That's the difference between a random call blitz and a real B2B cold calling services program. If you're evaluating a cold calling agency or building a cold calling team internally, prioritize repeatable call timing and relevance over raw volume. The best results come when calls are triggered by intent, pricing page visits, demo requests, repeat site sessions, and supported by the same narrative used in your email and LinkedIn outreach. Orchestration beats automation. Integrate platforms and tighten handoffs. Most teams don't fail because they lack tools. They fail because their tools don't agree on the truth. When LinkedIn activity, email engagement, calls, ads, and website behavior aren't flowing into the CRM, SDRs chase the wrong people, marketing can't see what converts, and AEs lose confidence in the funnel. Multi-channel outreach can reduce cost per lead by about 31%, but only 11% of companies report a smooth marketing to sales handoff, which is why routing and SLAs are non-negotiable. Define what happens when someone fills a form, hits a high-intent page, or engages on LinkedIn. Then make the platform trigger tasks and sequences in minutes, not days. Another common mistake is copy-pasting the same generic message across every channel, which is exactly how you become irrelevant outreach in the buyer's mind. Segment cadences by buying stage, fast track for inbound intent, longer education-led for cold outbound, and customize by channel. Concise problem-first emails, conversational LinkedIn messages, and direct, value-driven call openers. Optimize toward revenue, the only scoreboard that matters. If your dashboards stop at opens, clicks, and MQL volume, you'll overinvest in the loudest channel, not the most profitable one. Instead, align marketing, SDRs, and AEs around shared revenue outcomes. Qualified meetings, opportunity creation rate, pipeline influenced, and win rate by channel. Practically, that means every platform needs to push activity into your CRM or a single reporting layer so you can answer simple questions. Which channels create the most opportunities? Which channels create the best opportunities? Which touches accelerate deals already in motion? Once you can see those answers, you can reallocate budget and SDR time with confidence. We recommend running monthly experiments that are easy to attribute, A/B subject lines, 2 call openers, and 1 LinkedIn angle per ICP, while keeping everything else stable. The teams that win aren't the ones with the most tools. They're the ones with the tightest feedback loop from platform activity to pipeline outcomes. What to do next and when outsourcing is the smarter move. Start with a channel audit tied to real buyer behavior, where your best customers first discovered you, where they researched, and what finally triggered a conversation. Then pick a core stack you can execute this quarter, typically email, LinkedIn, website and SEO, and phone, before you expand into additional paid channels. Next, Tighten the operational backbone. One CRM as the source of truth, one sales engagement workflow for SDR execution, and clear routing rules by intent level. Build at least 2 multi-channel cadences per ICP, outbound prospecting and inbound follow-up, and make sure each one is designed to create meetings, not just activity. If you don't have the bandwidth to hire SDRs, manage list building services, run a consistent dialing program, and keep deliverability healthy, sales outsourcing can be a practical shortcut. At SalesHive, we operate as a B2B sales agency with an outsourced sales team model that executes email, LinkedIn outreach services, and calling in one coordinated system. And we've booked 100,000 plus meetings for hundreds of B2B clients, so you can focus internal effort on closing while we run the platform execution, including flexible models often compared during SalesHive pricing evaluations on saleshive.com.